Me now to talk about some of this is former KGB agent Jack Barsky.
Okay, let me get this straight. CIA infiltrated CNN is going to interview an ex-KGB agent about a current KGB agent, Vladimir Putin. I'm sure we're going to get loads of truth out of this one. Hey guys, before we get into today's video, I want to give a real quick shout out to today's sponsor, Virtual Shield VPN. And the reason I promote it, guys, is because I use it every single day and I know that it works, and I've proven it in videos in the past. If you use the link in the description, you're going to get 50% off, and that's going to help you protect your identity, your activity, and your location anytime you're surfing on the net. That link is in the description below. Okay, one thing to remember as you watch this video, if you're seeing and hearing something on fake stream media, it's because they want you to see it. And because we know that mainstream media has been the enemy of the people for decades, what they want you to see is not for your benefit. And it looks like things have gotten so bad in TV land, and the producers have become so desperate to throw any piece of propagandized poison out to the masses that they just don't give a damn anymore. They'll dangle the blatant nonsense in our faces without even bothering to wrap it in the thinnest blanket of credibility. In this CNN segment entitled Ex-KGB Agent Weighs In on Bizarre Putin Photos, you've got Jim Acosta's counterfeit CIA-infiltrated network interviewing one of Russia's so-called former top agents whose job it was as a double agent to spy on Americans. Check out this piece of psychological operations garbage.
Me now to talk about some of this is former KGB agent Jack Barsky.
Just so we're clear, there's no such thing as ex-KGB, just like there's no such thing as ex-CIA.
He's the author of the book Deep Undercover: My Secret Life and Tangled Allegiances as a KGB Spy in America.
So you got that? He's a KGB spy for Russia in America, talking to CIA-infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media and their corporate teleprompter reader, Jim Acosta. What are the odds that we're going to get any truth out of this segment right here?
He's also the executive producer of The Agent, streaming now on major audio platforms. Jack, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, Putin is facing worldwide scrutiny for this unprovoked war.
See, that's one thing they keep doing. They keep pushing this idea that there was absolutely no provocation by the U.S. and NATO.
Do you think he's still the KGB agent that he was so many years ago? He's relying on that training, relying on those mind games that KGB agents play at this very moment.
Kind of like the mind game psychological operation CNN is playing on the brains of their audience at this very moment. And from the like, dislike, and view ratio, seems like it's working. A lot of people are buying what these charlatans are selling. People actually think they're going to come to this polluted well to extract crystal clear waters of truth.
I have to disabuse you of the notion that the man he is today was trained by the KGB, and he got his political skills and whatever he uses from the KGB. He was a mid-level bureaucrat in the KGB. He served in the city of Dresden in the 80s, and I happened to have met an ex-boss of his, Oleg Kalugin, who was in charge of counterintelligence for the first directorate, of the KGB, which was espionage. And he will tell you that he was not impressed with Mr. Putin. Putin is a phenomenal politician and a master chess player, because he has been in power for the last 22 years in a country where the standard of living hasn't much improved, particularly outside of the big cities. So how he got to who he is today is probably not that relevant, but let's not think that KGB agents are supermen. I am not, and I was one of the best trained KGB agents ever sent out.
So this guy is one of the best KGB agents ever sent out. I don't know about you, but that tells me right off the bat, don't trust one word this guy is saying about anything. It's amazing that people don't see this.
Well, that leads me to my next question, which is Putin is not invincible. We spoke with the former CIA chief of Russia operations yesterday, and he told me that what Putin really fears is not the oligarchs or the Russian people turning on him. It's his fellow spies, people in his national security realm around him, intelligence realm around him. What do you think about that?
And that was Dan Hoffman, I believe. Did you talk to Dan Hoffman?
Steve Hall made that observation, but I think others have made the same observation.
But Dan Hoffman was also head of CIA, and I've heard him, and he says the same thing, and they're absolutely right. Putin has a complete disregard of what his people are thinking and doing. He knows that he can keep them under control as long as he also has the power players in his regime under control. Because if he doesn't, he's toast. There will be a palace revolt, and he's done. So he has to really walk a fine line, because he put himself into a situation now that is very difficult for him to get out of. If he thinks he can occupy Ukraine and declare victory, he's wrong, because I've heard other people say that, but I said it right when this thing started. Ukraine will be defeated. You cannot defeat a country when you fight the entire population. We lost Vietnam. We lost Afghanistan. The Soviets lost Afghanistan. So this would be a very prolonged, very bloody, partisan kind of fight, where too many Russian soldiers would be killed and come home, and eventually Putin's legacy would be kaput, and he would be deposed. So,
okay, what did this guy just admit? He said you can't beat a nation when you fight the entire population. And then he gives examples of our losses in Vietnam and Afghanistan, and these people are so tone deaf that they don't even realize, or maybe they do, that they just admitted that the U.S. savagely went to war against entire countries, just like they claim Russia is doing right now. In reality, that's exactly what the U.S. and NATO are doing to Russia. They're warring with that entire country. These people are disgusting.
The choice that he may have still is find this off-ramp where he can declare victory and get out and get some concessions from the Ukrainian government, but that's not entirely dependent on him. So he put himself into a really tight situation.
And, there have been a lot of questions about his mindset these days. He's been isolated because of COVID, or at least that's the reporting that comes out about how Putin has been behaving during the pandemic. But you see these bizarre photo ops, the long tables, dozens of feet away from anybody. I've been describing it as Putin in Wonderland.
All right, so let me get this straight. CNN, the network that's been telling us for 2 years to obey the guidelines like social distancing, is mocking Putin and calling his actions bizarre because he's social distancing? What a bunch of hypocrites.
What do you think about his mindset at this point? Is he living in sort of an upside down world, a reality of his own making?
Well, a dictator like Vladimir Putin or Adolf Hitler, I'm not saying they're the same, but anybody who is completely in charge of a whole country must totally believe in himself. All right. And, there have been other bizarre photos in the history of Putin as a president, and a half-naked picture on a horse, or when he plays ice hockey against the Soviet national team. All of this indicates that he has no little man in his head that checks on him occasionally. So he believes in himself, period. And if you think, and I've met people like that in corporate America, if you think you're always the smartest person in the room, you set yourself up for failure. And I think he is at that point. He may well have disregarded intelligence, and that he's now blaming a couple of guys from the FSB for bad intelligence. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they didn't know how Ukraine and the Ukrainian people would act. He probably ignored it because he knows better.
All right, Jack Barsky, thank you very much for those insights. We appreciate it.
So KGB asset Jack Barsky, betrayer of America, interviewed by CIA-infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MKUltra, CNN Media, is talking about the mental state of KGB agent Vladimir Putin. Seems like a steaming boatload of convoluted BS to me. So what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my backup channels, Grease Monkey Videos, and Here's the Deal, and subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. Those links will be in the description below. If you want to support the channel further, grab one of these hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirts from the shirt store. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored Shadow Ban video. It might be a good idea while you still can to convert your fiat currency notes into long-term storable food. Use my link in the description and get $100 off instantly for this survival food. Do it while you still can because, guys, I cannot guarantee that they're going to have this available in the future.